Right, so before we get on to the very final Game of the Year category, I just want to do, we do proper honourable mentions now. Do you want to go through each category and say what else you thought about it first? Or
mine's more just a pool of games from well, they're good.
Yeah.
But not on there, so I might just read mine
Yeah,
off,
do you want to just read off games that, that didn't quite make the cut?
Yeah, it's basically all the games I started on 3DS and never finished. Well, Grey Goo was kind of on there until I realised that it was last year. But
you should say that anyway. So,
Grim Dawn, Path of Exile, all those Diablo-esque games, which I was just this is so fun to play.
Just a nice loop.
It's I put on a podcast, I just play those for 2 or 3 hours and just lose myself in the repetitiveness of it.
Yeah.
I also remembered going through my Steam, I was like, oh yeah, I played a shitload of Dark Souls 2,
oh yeah, yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I can't put that on there, but I was like, oh yeah, I played a lot of that this year, obviously it's still as good. Ocarina of Time on the 3DS, really good. Yeah, it's a great handheld. Yeah. It's what I wanted when I was a kid. Speaking of what I wanted when I was a kid, Pokemon Moon.
Yeah.
I really liked the way they updated some of the story and the mechanics. It's got much more of an in-depth feeling. You don't feel like you're just going place to place to place. There's characters, there's extra mechanics and stuff. I really liked it. I keep meaning to put more time in it. I just haven't got around to it. And Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. It probably would be much harder than this, but it's only quite recent. I just haven't sunk in the hours I need to. I just need to,
play more of it.
In a month or two, I'm sure I will have completed it and be oh, this is amazing, I love Kingdom Hearts. Where's Kingdom Hearts 3?
Get on with it.
Pretty much. And I think that's it.
Yeah?
Yeah, unless I've forgotten stuff.
Well, if you remember, just let us know. Mr. Mark.
I don't have that many, so I had Super Mario 3D Land because I really enjoy playing that game. So much fun. Got really addicted to it. Great soundtrack. But it just didn't outdo any of the others. And StarCraft 2, I really got into that, but for some reason I didn't put it over anything else. Really like that. Great soundtrack, really fun game. Great strategy, obviously.
Yeah.
Great RTS. I'm trying to think. That's the only two I can. Only two I can think of really, unless you can think of some games that I've played that I haven't.
What in terms? Well, I mean, we played Bomberman and Worms, but I don't think we played enough of them for you to chuck them up there.
Worms is a weird one for me.
I think you might like this new one.
Yeah.
I don't know. What?
I mean, it's only a couple really. But,
if it's a lot of stuff we play little bits of, but not enough to really
To be honest, I go as far as say even Smash 4 because we still play the hell out of that, and especially this year. I know we can't put it on there, but in terms of games we played a lot of.
Rumbo was
last year.
They're doing a thing, aren't they, on the Switch?
Yeah, they're bringing it out on the Switch.
That's what I was thinking of.
I don't know, I don't think what else we played.
Yeah, stuff for the channel as well. A lot of the games I think of are oh yeah, the ones I played a long time ago.
Yeah.
I nearly put GoldenEye on my biggest disappointments.
We haven't played it yet.
We played that once when you got your N64 out. It's just oh, is this it? I mean, I pretty much spent maybe half an hour of my childhood on that game.
Yeah.
So I think it still kind of counts as
I dread to think of how many hours I put into that game.
Well, don't worry, we'll be doing that one soon. So.
I've already owned up to my Monster Hunter addiction I have.
Yeah.
What about you, Levi?
I'm going to go through sort of a few games. If we're going to start off with most disappointing, there was one game that I played earlier this year. It's called Zero Drifter, and it was made by this a company that made a game called Mutant Mudds, which is a fantastic game. And they put out this game called Zero Drifter, and it was a very short Metroidvania game, or more Metro game. And put it this way, I played it for an hour and I completed about 50% of the game. And I was thinking,
I think you showed me this game.
Yeah, this would have been most disappointing if the fact that I actually gave a fuck about this game. It's one of the worst games I've ever played modernly, because it doesn't explain anything. The game is far too short for 10 quid. I was like, yeah, it's crap. So, honourable mention, don't play that game, it's rubbish.
Honourable mention of most disappointing is that.
Yeah.
It's a weird combination.
honourably mention that this was shit.
Yeah. All right. So
It's like an oxymoron. isn't
obviously
it?
multiplayer. The multiplayer games I mentioned, Snipper Clips. I had a lot of fun playing that game.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Worms WMD I played earlier this year. Just recently got on the Switch. This almost was from just the other night. Just purely on that match with that drill boat. Like, that was such a shock. And that was such a good match that we had.
Yeah.
Worms to me is a fantastic turn-based game. I love it, and I love the multiplayer. Bomberman, like I said.
Dave doesn't agree with you.
I think that's just me.
Yeah.
it just doesn't.
It's
The
fair enough.
bits of it don't fit like my puzzle piece. Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't cross
I
over
love
properly.
Worms. I can't get enough of it. Bomberman, obviously got the most the Switch one finally. Love that.
Great fun, yeah.
Great fun. One game on here that I this is probably the most honourable mention I can give, if it was an honourable mention of an honourable mention, is Arms. Arms is a fucking great game.
Actually, I really enjoyed that. Actually,
Arms is
forgot I played that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
It's good. It's interesting.
It's a fighting game that most people thought this is just going to be a bit of like, it's fun, but there's a lot of strategy to it. And quite frankly, I played it recently, and even though I don't play it much, I'm alright at it. Like, I win more than I lose, I think, but
Yeah,
I
I
like the motion controls. They work very well. And
Yeah.
this is, as a multiplayer game,
I was very doubtful of that game, but yeah, I forgot I played that.
you actually have played a Switch game.
I have played the Switch game. More than just helping you with my eyes and touch
Yeah,
your button. I can see the colours. Let me do the skill drawing.
One game that I had two more games that I had a really good blast with that didn't get mentioned on this. I played Deus Ex Mankind Divided this year, and I really liked Deus Ex Human Revolution. This was originally going to be my single player game of the year until Zelda and other things popped up. Fucking amazing game, really good story, a lot of stuff. It's literally just missed out by a very small margin. Fantastic game, loved
Forgot
it.
about that. Yeah,
Loved it.
So-
I literally spent 2 days just solid playing that.
Yeah.
It was really good. And on the 3DS, Metroid Samus Returns. The very first Metroid game I ever played was Metroid 2. This is a remake of it. It's one of the best remakes ever made in terms of just what a remake should be.
Damn.
And fucking amazing soundtrack. A lot of moments that made me smile in that as well, where bits of music would come on from the past things. The final boss fight was a massive shock. I didn't know it was going to be what was happening. A lot of stuff in it. Brilliant. And just to say, with the soundtrack thing, Snake Pass obviously won. Zelda and Mario obviously up there. The only reason Zelda didn't win it for me is because while that soundtrack is incredible, if you listen to it while not playing the game, it doesn't really hold up. A lot of those tracks are very atmospheric. And Mario, there are 2 songs in that game that I absolutely love. That some of them, a couple of the other tracks are not so much. And I was like, you know what? Snake Pass only has 7 pieces of music, but they are all very good, and that's why it won that for me. Anyway, let us get on to Game of the Year. I'm going to throw this over to Mr. Mark because I'm pretty sure we all know what this is going to be. So why don't you tell us?
Open that treasure chest and
Lift
bring out the gold.
What was in the treasure chest?
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
No way!
No, you don't say. Yeah, I just had a fucking amazing time playing this game. From the moment that I came out of that cave, and
after playing the game for 10 hours, came into the wilderness.
came out of the in-game cave, and came out into the world. And I literally, it sounds really sad, but I literally had goosebumps. I was like, oh my god,
I know what you mean.
What am I about to do? This is amazing. It'd been spoiled for me because I'd seen the trailer where it comes out like that, but like seeing it while I was playing it, I was like, and then just going from having absolutely nothing and trying to survive with like the bare bones and nothingness and no hearts, no decent weapons, and just building up to the end of having like this amazing like load of armor and weapons and stamina and all of the stuff that you need, and just exploring this like beautiful world and being able to explore it so easily, being able to climb literally anything, being able to parasail like across mountains and see like sunsets and just be parasailing and then be like, oh, there's a shrine over there, and like you think you've seen quite a lot of an area until you go up to a mountain and look back down on it, and then you're like, there's like 3 shrines.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna glide on down, like set like a marker and just go down there and be like, I can't wait to get down there. And like, I thought the Divine Beasts were a great idea. I know a lot of people said they miss like traditional dungeons, but I've done so many traditional dungeons. I've done my kind of leafy dungeon, my like icy dungeon, my fiery dungeon, like several times in 3D Zeldas. So the fact that you have to manipulate these big beasts by solving puzzles and like turning them and stuff, I was like, oh, this is really cool.
Different.
Like, you don't need that many puzzles inside of them because the shrines are where most of the puzzles are.
Yeah.
That's where most of the puzzle element of the game comes in. And then there's overworld kind of puzzles as well, like little mini puzzles that you have to do. Things like that. I think the soundtrack was great. I think it's fairly minimalist, but like it's really great. The shrine music is incredible.
Shrine music
has to be mentioned.
The best music.
The story's great. I love the art style. I think it looks great. Just never get bored of exploring, just running around and just slashing away at foxes, or like, I don't know.
You are a bit of a murderer in that game.
I just like cutting grass even.
I know. That's what I was doing earlier.
Just exploring every inch of the map and just doing everything.
Yeah.
And like, the music in like the towns like Kakariko Village and
Hatyana, whoever it is.
Hateno Village.
That's it.
Oh, it's the most peaceful, lovely music to it. Labyrinths, really cool.
Oh, the mazes, yeah.
Very good. Just everything about it was just incredible. I don't think I've had quite such a. I don't think I've been quite that blown away.
Breathtaking experience.
Yeah, I don't think I've been quite that blown away by a game for like probably since I played like Metroid Prime or something.
Yeah.
But this was more mind blowing than that. Like Metroid Prime was amazing, but this was just like incredible. And I haven't played that many open world games. I mean, I've played like Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, that's technically an open world game.
Yeah.
And I've played like some other bits and bobs. I played Xenoblade Chronicles, like an open world RPG. But I haven't played that many. Still haven't played Skyrim. Haven't played like Dark Souls. Haven't played like The Witcher.
Good game.
But I do feel like I will be slightly disappointed if I go back and play like open world games now, because I am intending to play Skyrim. I do feel like it just won't.
Skyrim would be a step down.
Yeah.
But then I'm quite.
I do feel like it'll just be like disappointing.
Witcher 3
it just won't do quite what I want it to do.
Witcher 3 is a great game. Still, it's on the same level, but great game.
But yeah, I fucking loved it, and I played 2 or 3 10-hour sessions and didn't get bored at all.
Yeah.
And I just never get bored of the shrines. I didn't do all of them. I think I did like 95 of them, but I never got bored of finding them and doing them. You'd think after doing dozens of them, you'd be like
the world building
getting bored, but you just don't at all. It's just amazing.
Also, the Macarena tree dude.
Oh, Shakalaka.
Yeah. So cool.
I think
MVP.
You know, Nintendo do a lot of things that piss people off in terms of outside of gaming, and then they make some crazy decisions. But you kind of have to respect them, that they're usually their core franchises like Zelda, Mario, and when they make Metroid and stuff like that, they really nail it. I can't think of a single Mario or Zelda game that is terrible. Like
they have a respect for their IPs more than like the shareholders, which is quite rare for most big like publishers.
Yeah.
They're even cool.
They're developer, aren't they?
Yeah, they're definitely.
They do publish some
like
stuff, I think, but
old school rather than like new schools about developers and publisher relationship.
Yeah, but I've always had that respect for them, because no matter what they make, even if you don't like it, you have to respect the fact, like, look at Super Mario Sunshine. This is just an example that a lot of people didn't like that game, but it wasn't like a terrible game. It wasn't a crap game. It was still well made. It was just it had some mechanics that people didn't enjoy.
Fanboy.
I don't like Mario Sunshine that much, but
I went to Nintendo agenda.
Oh, me,
That's why I was surprised. I was like, you don't like Sunshine?
Yeah, but like,
I mean, I love Sunshine.
I like it, but it's I like it more than Mario 64.
And Sunshine was like my first one from like the Game Boy Marios I had.
GameCube.
Since I basically skipped all that stuff. Then got the GameCube.
Yeah, I mean, like, Breath of the Wild, like I said before, has a few issues. The frame rate stutters. That's a bit better now since they've patched it. And you know, it's the occasional weird graphical glitch. But generally speaking, when you play something like that, you know that they've put 3 to 4 years of development time, maybe even more, and it shows. And quite frankly, you know, I found it just as mind blowing as you did. So I can totally understand everything you just said there. It's
when I play it again, I'm going to play it without the map or without the UI on.
Yeah.
And just go in just get completely lost and
Yeah.
just see what kind of experience I have. I'll probably do it in a completely different order, like with the Divine Beasts and stuff, and
I mean, at this point, I have some kind of idea where stuff is on the map, but in terms of like the main Divine Beast and the 4 corners. And things,
yeah, hopefully, like if I don't play it for like a year or so, I might have forgotten it enough for it to be like refresh, like, you know, seem new again, and that'd be good.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I can stave off playing it for a year. To try and put it down for 2 years or so.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Mr. Fruity, what is your game then that you picked for the game of the year?
Especially the one game I haven't mentioned yet. So, Pillars of Eternity.
To be fair, I completely forgot about that until just then.
No idea what that game is.
You've heard of Baldur's Gate, yeah?
Yeah, I know Baldur's Gate, yeah.
Basically that. Basically, it's a Kickstarter to basically like do a Baldur's Gate. It's exactly the same kind of like art style, different like RPG mechanics. Like it's not based on Dungeons and Dragons. But yeah, like I've sunk so many hours in the last like month. I'm easily over like 40, 50 hours now. Like a month of like playing. Like it's amazing. I've still barely done like 1 or 2 missions. Pretty much everything I've done is like side quests and tasks and everything else. Like also building up a little castle. So I got like I just let me build up a city and like invest money in it and stuff is all I care about. Really, every game I'm like saying about, oh yeah, it's really cool. It's like yeah, you got your like D&D party you can like make, or you can like get like plot ones. New characters join your party and they have like quests. And it's just my like zone chill out game.
Yeah, you've been playing quite a lot recently.
So good.
I can understand that though. It is right up your street.
Yeah.
Like everything about that
game.
It's
also why like. So yeah, these games are like my jam. All these like kind of like traditional like computer RPG kind of things. That's why I still wish Shadowrun.
Shadowrun, yeah, it was a very odd one for you.
Yeah, it's like the curveball. But yeah, Pillars, so good.
What I've seen of you playing it, I actually am kind of curious about jumping into that because I like those Icewind. I like Icewind Dale a lot.
Like the story's cool. Like a bit at the moment, found like dwarfs like halls underground, and these like mythical forges, and like like dragons and different forms of like magic and societies, and the royal family and like lords and nobles, and it's everything I wanted. Yeah,
that's awesome. Like it's cool to. I mean, it's a game that we're starting to see more of these pop up again now. Divinity, Original Sin, and this, and
it's when you keep pausing and it's like, what are you doing this turn? And you're like, these attacks and spells are triggered. It's pause. Okay, I want you to attack this. I want you to attack this.
I like the fact you can choose to play it that way or not. You can play it kind of real time if you want.
It's harder to play real time, definitely. You try and like control everything at once. But yeah, it's just been so good. It's just living all my like. I used to play like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. It's just
living out all those fantasies.
Yeah. Because it's got a few. It's like they modernise some stuff.
Yeah.
Compared to like Baldur's Gate and stuff, like it's like the auto saves are a lot better, and like, some of the magic. It's like kind of cleaned up and stuff. The only thing that's like a negative, some of the music's a bit meh. Bit like some of it's also just like amazingly like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's like so like based on the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, which is just perfect. It's like high fantasy kind of thing.
The voice acting, from what I can hear, is a little bit cheesy, but it seems fairly good.
Yeah, but it's literally just like the same like 5 or 6 lines.
Yeah.
And it is like an indie thing.
Yeah. It's not against the game. I quite like it.
Yeah, it's like every time they like.
Not a problem.
Every time you leave your castle, like the same guy keeps going like, very impressed. It's like you say that every single time we walk in this building. But yeah, the only thing that really confused me at the beginning. It's like I was like, Baldur's Gate. It's just D&D. Got to work out your armor class. Got the classes, got skills. And it's like, oh no, it's a different system. I was like, oh god, there's like 4 different stats that like dodges based on attack hits and stuff.
Like, oh
It's
no.
like, once I got my head around it, I was like, oh, it's okay.
You understand what you're doing. So.
Yeah, it's kind of what I wish in those games had like an actual like player handbook. Because sometimes like I would love just to have a player handbook.
Yeah.
You just go through like all the pages.
Let me see what am I
Like,
doing.
I mean, it might be there somewhere, but that would be like, but yeah, still Game of the Year. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely got its flaws, but like, it's.
If it's what you want from a game, so.
But then like, the flaws are also kind of like what makes it so charming.
Yeah.
It's like
Animations. Actually, the animations are pretty good on it from what I've seen.
yeah, it's like just a perfect combination of like nostalgic, charming, and like yeah, a good system under the hood.
I think my favourite bit so far of that game is when you were playing it and you just went up some stairs and then just punched some woman to knock her out. It's like,
Yeah.
what is going
It's got
on?
that Fallout thing where like
The dialogue.
if you're like a race from this country, then you have like certain dialogue options and these missions, and like if you're a priest and if the quest is like related to that, and you can do that. Like if you've got like law that's a high stat, or like might, because my character's a barbarian, so yeah, like whenever the stat comes up, it's like you need like 18 might to do this option. It's like, well, I was going to do that because I'm a barbarian.
Yeah.
So it's just like it means like extorting people, like throwing people across the rooms and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's got my like just spending like pages just reading
Yeah.
the books and the games and stuff and be like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that
Scratches
you're
my
enjoying it.
high fantasy itch.
Yeah, nice. Before I get onto mine, I just want to make one more honourable mention of probably a game that's quite disappointing this year that none of us have played. It's StarCraft Remastered. Complete waste of time. I just want to bring that up.
Yeah.
Don't buy it. Alright, so...
It's just not what I need.
No.
The one thing I want them to work on is what they didn't work on.
Yeah.
So I might as well just play the open for free.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Completely pointless.
It's not for us.
Even if you play the old one, it actually even has the options for StarCraft Remastered in it. But you're basically buying for HD graphics. That's all you're buying for. So,
Up the res on the sprites and
yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like I understand like the other side of the argument on that game, but it's just not what I needed.
No.
So like I don't hold it against it. Like I understand why they did it, and I understand there might be a larger fan base that wanted it like that, but
They're all wrong.
that's not what I wanted.
Alright, so let's get to my game of the year. I mean, let's be frank, it was going to be one of two things. Well, actually, it was one of 4 things at one
I'm
point.
surprised it was this way around though.
Well, I mean, you know, this was a tough call. So it came down to, it was either going to be Mario and Rabbids, it was going to be Zelda, it was going to be Mario Odyssey, and Doom. Like, I had a lot of fun with Doom, and quite frankly, I thought, well, let's look at these games. Mario and Rabbids I was like, you know what, I had a bloody good time with that. But I was like, that's kind of, it was great for what it was, but, you know, I was like, but Zelda I put way more time into, and Doom, I think it was because it was the best first-person shooter. And then, like, Mario obviously came along, and I was like, about it to start with. Wasn't looking forward to it. And then I completed the main story of Mario, and then I got the amount of moons I got to, and I really put some back and forth into this, and eventually it was Super Mario Odyssey for me. I truly thought before this game came out that this was going to be the first year that a Zelda game was going to basically top Mario for me. But why is this game my game of the year then? Like, the game has flaws, and it's still not the Mario game I want. But the game, every time I picked it up and played it, I'd come across something that made me go, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Things that were, can't say too much because obviously you're still playing it, I don't want to spoil. There were nods to other Mario games, whether it's the music or costumes you get, or iconic things you get to play. There was a lot of stuff in it that was just played on a lot of nostalgia for me, and obviously the 2D parts of it were very much like playing an old 2D Mario game. And in the bit that you've probably a lot of people seen now, that new Donk City thing where you get to run around and the festival's playing with Jump Up Superstar and you defeat Donkey Kong, and it was a game that was definitely a grower for me. It's probably I don't know if it's my favourite 3D Mario game, but it's up there was possibly that. And I just think, you know, there was so many moments in that game where actually stuff that I wasn't looking forward to I enjoyed. The Wooded Kingdom, if it wasn't for the fact that the music in that kingdom is some weird surf rock that plays, and quite frankly, every time I played it, I would just spend time in that kingdom listening to that music or putting it on the music player.
Yeah.
I've got the 8-bit version of it now. It was a lot of things in it that were just joyful, and that's the biggest thing. There was a lot of moments in it that were joyful, and playing it and getting to certain places and experiencing things. I mean, this game, there's a lot of stuff that harkens back to Mario 64, and for me that's not a good thing, but I can see why other people would. But there were bits in there I was like, alright, I see what you're doing there, that's clever. And there was one bit I came across and I was just like, you know what, I didn't like Mario 64, but this is really cool to see this in this game. And there was like bits like that, and then there was like little references to Mario Bros. 3 and references to the first game, and bits like that, and it just kept coming. Every time I thought I'd seen everything, new stuff would pop up, and I was just like, bloody hell. Like, this really is a love letter to the Mario games and the Mario franchise in general. There is one disappointing thing in this game, which I was like, oh, okay. And that is that maybe his brother doesn't turn up in it. But other than that, like, I was very, very pleased overall that the game just turned out to be, you know, I was so worried about it being this open world style of game. Also, I like to call it sandbox rather than open world, because it is more of a sandbox game. It's not really that open world. You're locked into an area, you have to go from one to one. Things like Wooded Kingdom, things like Metro Kingdom, Bowser's Kingdom, places like that were a lot of fun. And Metro Kingdom to me has now become this iconic thing that we're going to see in hopefully in Smash and in Mario games to come, because it's so weird seeing this fat plumber cartoon guy running around with real people, and it was just a lot of fun for a world where there's no enemies in the main area. Like, it's just a lot of fun to run and jump on buildings and fly off of stuff, and everything about this game sold me. Like, the controls, apart from one minor niggle that I have, are perfect. You feel like you can get around, you feel like you can become an expert of the controls. Just everything really. Music, visual style is beautiful, the way that only Nintendo seems to do it. And yeah, overall it just basically won me over eventually. And even though today, and up until today, I wasn't even sure who was going to win it. I played Zelda, I played Mario, and you know, it was like neck and neck. But I had to basically pick it, and I think the thing is, Mario wins it because it is a more joyful, colourful game. Zelda, it's why it's my favourite single-player experience, because you can get immersed in that. But Mario is a game that you want to share with people of all ages. You want people to see this wonderful world that's been created, and anyone can pick up and play it. You know, they got rid of lives. It's not overly. There are difficult bits in this game, but you can go have a run around this world. If you want to go swimming, go swimming. If you want to,
flows nicely, doesn't it? It doesn't. It's not stressful. Like, you're constantly gratified because there's so many moons to get. You're just constantly like given rewards, and it's just like, oh, I want to play it more and more and more.
I think another big thing is, frankly, that Mario is still the best. Like, Mario Bros. 3 is my favourite platformer. Nintendo make the Mario series, obviously, and I think Mario games always have the best platforming. I've played more modern platformers, and if you take things like Shovel Knight, which is fantastic, there are a lot of platformers that come out that just don't get it or just don't feel right, and they're not fun. Whereas every time I play a Mario game, I know what I'm getting in for. The quality's there, the controls are there, it handles fine, it handles wonderfully actually. And I'm playing platformers are my favourite games. They're always going to win out pretty much above anything else. And the fact that this is the best platformer we've had all year. There is no, even though we had things like Yooka-Laylee and Snake Pass, which is a weird kind of platformer hybrid, Sonic Mania Forces, to Mario game, it's the king of all platformers. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but when you look at quality, there isn't a bad, whether it's 2D or 3D, like those games, they have a certain quality to them, and at the end of the day, that's why it won. So that was a very long-winded answer, but
that's good. Like, that's good explanation. And it has it's making me thinking about the game, like picturing the levels and stuff. It's like, oh, I want to go back and play that like again now.
You have a lot to, like I keep saying, you've got a lot to experience. The little bits that will hopefully for you will be just as cool as they were for me. And I think for anyone who's played older Mario games, I mean, there's one bit that I'm very much looking forward to you seeing, because I know that for you it's going to be like, so it's fantastic. But that's it really. That's our games of the years and our nominations. This was
quite a long video, but a good discussion.
It was a lot of fun. It was something different, and I've been looking forward to this. you know, there are so many good games coming out all the time, so it's kind of difficult. But I'm glad we had a good mix. I'm glad that everyone as well apart from you and me and Overcooked, the multiplayer, everyone had something different for an answer, didn't they? So
yeah, we had quite such a wide variety of games, from Doom to Jackbox TV to Overcooked,
Mario to Mario to Zelda to Zelda to Mario.
Hey man,
totally dangerous.
Hey, I had StarCraft. I had
Repping the PC Master Race.
I did have 3 Zelda games, to be fair.
Doesn't matter, man. Like, it's what you play.
Yeah.
But well, let's bring on 2018 and see what else we got coming out. Like
Metroid Prime 4.
Fingers crossed.
For as shit and as close as we got to like nuclear fucking assured destruction. So 2017 has been a good game, like good year for video games.
Yeah, we had Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Even though the majority,
yeah,
even though the majority of our games didn't come out this year, there's been a lot of good games out this year as well.
Now let's bear in mind we can't all play all of these games that come out, and we also don't have the money to buy games all the time.
Don't have the time, bruh.
So
life's busy and
so
stuff.
that's why we decided to pick at games that we'd never played or games that had new stuff in as of this year. So I'm glad that we had a variety of things in there. I'm glad the things like Pillars to be on there, StarCraft, obviously Zelda, and my personal favourite. I'm glad that I picked.
Still keeping Shovel Knight going.
Yeah, Shovel Knight
still going.
Shovel Knight 2, come on, make it happen. But thank you very much for listening and or watching, as always. Very much appreciate it. If you like this video, hit like. If you want to see more of this stuff, obviously hit subscribe. And
please share.
Yeah, share. You guys should share more. But thank you very.
I share all my feelings. I'm an open book.
Damn right you are.
Am I ruining the ending?
No, it's totally cool. As always, thank you very much for watching. It's bye from me, and it is bye from these lovely gentlemen next to me.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye.